Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Okay, we couldn't resist.
Reckless speculation.
I know the Viking season just ended like 12 hours ago as we record this.
Reckless speculation.
And there's plenty of therapeutic content, or maybe blood boiling content. 2 hours of vent line for you, and then an hour of hottest Vikings takes and Judd's pie chart of blames. There's like 3 hours of Purple Daily in the 12 hours since the game ended that kind of puts the season to bed. But we can't resist just jumping right into the offseason here, looking ahead. It's time to start building for 2025. It's time to take a 14-win team, get them to the next level. So this will just be a smattering of what we're going to do on this show the next handful of months. We will do offseason roster blueprints. We will speculate. There's going to be quarterback news. The Vikings have the fifth most cap space. So there's a lot of fun ahead here if you can kind of get over the misery of last night. But we're going to give you 3 offensive free agents. We each brought one to the table here. 3 offensive free agents that the Vikings could look at here with their boatload of $70 million in cap space. And if any of those free agents are looking to move to the Twin Cities, maybe 2 men in a truck could help them out, huh, Dex?
Exactly. That not only do they do moves, so if a new free agent is looking to a move, 2 men in a truck work, or if maybe you're Kwesi and you're looking to get rid of the junk, you want to get rid of the junk removal, they can also help you with that. Don't let the new league year get you overwhelmed with the hassle of decluttering your house or 53-man roster. They can take refrigerators. They could take any sorts of things out of your home at twomeninadjunktruck.com. Visit twomeninadjunktruck.com to find a location and book a service near you. They're all over the Midwest. They're all around the country. twomeninadjunktruck.com to get rid of that unwanted junk.
Can they take players? Take that Darnold right there. And the Reisner, I'm not going to use him anymore, probably.
Cam Robinson,
Just go ahead and take it. Yeah, just go ahead and look at that space.
Sorry, do you have room in that junk truck for the 12 pressures he allowed, or is that going to require 2 different trucks? I'm not sure. Check it out. So, okay, we're each going to bring an offensive free agent, and they're going to sign second and third tier guys too, but like I think we're all kind of focused on the big chunks of the $70 million that you could spend. And rumor has it we may even get a dud stable from our guy Randy in Cottage Grove, who some people are saying he was in the hospital last night. So I don't know. He hit us up, and he's apparently going to come on here. So we'll see what happens. But Judd, give us the first name that we can start spending that $70 million on.
All right, let's go right into meat and potatoes. Interior of the offensive line, which, of course, in the postgame last night, Kevin O'Connell rightfully said we have to improve there. So we're not just going to improve it, gentlemen. We're going to massively improve it. Rated currently number 2 on the PFF free agent rankings for 2025. Come on down. Kansas City Chiefs right guard Trey Smith.
Oh,
it's going to cost you. This is going to cost you, but it's also going to stabilize a position. May I suggest easily the biggest investment in a guard since Steve Hutchinson in 2006. All due respect to our guy, Alex Boone. Love him. But this is a huge addition if it can be made. Projection from PFF, 4 years, $82 million, averaging $20.5 million per season. The key figure here is this one, 50 guaranteed, $50 million guaranteed. Yes, I know that's a lot, but let's put this into context of positional value. And yes, it's a lot, but you have cap space to do it. And furthermore, is it really a lot if you're fixing a place that has been a weakness? I think you could easily say before O'Connell got here. Like the guard positions have not been solidified in any way, shape, or form. Trey Smith has an 80.4 PFF grade that currently ranks among 10th all guards this season. Most importantly, only 25 years old when free agency opens. So I think this would go a long way towards stabilizing a position group that has not been stabilized in how long?
He is, yeah. There are currently the guard market has been booming the last couple of years. Kevin Dotson signed for about $20 million, and Robert Hunt and Dickerson. There's 4 guards making $20 million a year now, which is kind of crazy because there was a guards don't matter movement there for a while. And I think with the Vikings, you've just found that after 10 years, and this is the first time you've had this much financial flexibility going into free agency, just fix it. Kevin O'Connell was so fed up with the offensive line performance and the interior offensive line in the pass protection game that he's openly venting about it in the postseason press conference last night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Trey Smith, the beauty of this, you got to be a little careful doling out big chunks of money to guys who are 28, 29, 30 years old. So if you're the Vikings and you got this money, your first priority should be find guys that can kind of fit an age curve here. You're bringing in a younger quarterback. Justin Jefferson is still in his mid-20s. Trey Smith is 25 and a half years old. So if you signed him to this contract, 4 years, $82 million PFF, the $50 million guaranteed essentially makes it like a 3-year guaranteed contract. So you'd get him for his age, 26, 27, 28 seasons, and you'd have perennially one of the top 8 to 10 guards, right guard. He's played exclusively right guard. And it would just fix the problem. It would just shut the revolving door, and it would give your first-year starting quarterback a lot more peace of mind in the pocket.
And I also think that the loss to the Rams gives O'Connell ammunition to push this. I don't think the way that they have built the offensive line and especially the interior is O'Connell's idea. I think it comes from Kwesi and a philosophy of what you broached, Phil, which is don't spend on guards. The reality of what was put on film against the Rams, I think, gives O'Connell a very strong standpoint when they start to sit down and discuss their potential moves to say, okay, guys, moneyball it some more. Look what happened.
Yeah.
So, I do think that O'Connell now has a really, really a solid stance for why, a Trey Smith makes a lot of sense.
Now, the Vikings are going to be in competition because there are as much cap space as the Vikings are projected to have. The Patriots have $112 million in cap space, which is $30 million more than the second place Raiders. And then the Commanders are in a great spot with Jaden Daniels. They've got a ton of cap space. So we have to go see which of these teams really needs a right guard. But there are other teams that could. If you're Trey Smith and you've got rings, it's not that he doesn't care about winning, but getting the bag is going to be his top priority at this point. This is his one shot to get $100 million guaranteed in his life. Yep. So you're just gonna have to outbid other teams. And also, according to PFF, one last nugget on Trey Smith. He played 708 pass blocking snaps in the regular season and allowed 0 sacks. 0 sacks. He gave up 26 pressures, only 5 hits of Patrick Mahomes, and was not credited with any sacks allowed. That's pretty wild.
J.J. McCarthy would really enjoy that protection.
It would be nice. Yeah, don't ruin your young quarterback. Okay. Staying along the interior offensive line here, if I may.
Reckless speculation.
So Garrett Bradbury is 29 years old here, 29 and a half. I think it's his age 30 season next year. And it's the last year on his contract. The Vikings could actually save $3.5 million by saying goodbye to him. He's not as bad as he was a couple years ago, but the trend remains the same for him. Really tough in pass protection consistently, year in and year out. Just has a really hard time. This year, out of 43 qualified centers in the NFL, Bradbury had the 39th ranked pass protection grade. And then as a run blocker, because he's a little lighter, more nimble, he can get out there on some of these especially the outside zone schemes where you got to cover a lot of ground as a center. He was 15th out of 43 qualified in terms of run blocking grade. So he can run block a little bit, but he's 29. I would love for the Vikings to find a true partner in crime at a critical position for a first-year starting quarterback. Because even if you're like, oh, you bring Bradbury back for a year, he's not a high-end starting center. He's going to be 30 years old. He doesn't align with a quarterback that's 8 years younger, right? Well, there's a 26-year-old, so 3.5 years younger, a 26-year-old named Drew Dolman, starting center for the Atlanta Falcons. Who's Kirk Cousins. You could have Kirk Cousins' hands on your keister and then J.J. McCarthy the next year. So he's projected to sign a 4-year, $46 million contract in free agency, $27.5 million guaranteed, $11 million a year. He is easily the best starting center on the market. And here's what was written in the PFF free agency profile. Any team that deploys an outside zone rushing scheme, which the Vikings run a lot of, that Shanahan sort of system runs a lot of outside zone where you're covering a lot of ground. Any team that runs outside zone will be all over this former 4th-round pick. Dolman has room to grow as a pass protector, but he's one of the best run-blocking interior offensive linemen in the NFL. So a little bit similar to Bradbury in that he's not great in pass protection, but he is far better than Bradbury at everything, according to PFF, and run blocking in particular. So, and he's younger. Like I say, he's 3.5 years younger. So he missed a bunch of games with injury this year, which is something to monitor. But if you could go get a stud 26-year-old starting center to partner with J.J. McCarthy, that should be high on their priority list. So they also like what's his name, the Wake Forest kid that they drafted, Juergens, right?
Juergens.
Yeah,
Michael Juergens.
So if they could only, if they're going to get one spot there, a center or a guard, which do you prefer?
Trey Smith.
Guard.
Yeah, Trey. I know you're paying double for it, but
right.
Give me Trey. If it's between Trey Smith at 20 or Drew Dolman at like 11 or 12. I would, and Trey Smith's younger. He's like a year younger than Dolman too. So
and he's going to raise Bradbury's play as well. Like, it's not going to fix him
Juergens'
completely.
play.
Or Juergens' play. Yeah, that's true. But he's going to raise that as well. Yeah, the guard thing really intrigues me. And we've been talking about, I mean, hell, we've been talking about trying to get a frontline guard since the radio show.
Yeah. I will throw just real quick on the guard. If there's like a consolation guard, and we'll do lists and lists and lists the next 2 months, but Mekhi Becton, the starting right guard for the Eagles, is also a 25-year-old. He's 25 and a half years old, free agent. Now, he was a former number 11 overall pick by the Jets, who was slated as a left tackle, deemed a bust, and the Eagles brought him in and said, hey, dude, we will revive you. We're going to move you to guard, right side of the football.
Yep.
He's one of the biggest humans in the NFL. He's like 6'8", 340 pounds or something ridiculous. He stands out. You watch that offensive line, he's just this brick house. He's a bus. Now, the Eagles run more of a read option run scheme with Jalen Hurts. It's just it's a different scheme that they're operating there. So could it translate over to what the Vikings are doing? But there's some dudes out there who can play guard even behind Trey Smith. Just we'll be going through more names than just these guys.
It would be nice if the Vikings line, no matter what the system is, if they had an identity. And I feel like the tackles do for sure, but the interior doesn't. Like, because when you watch the Eagles line, their identity is, we're going to kill you.
We're going to move you.
We are you are not going to. We are going to bury you in the ground for 3 hours. So it would be. I feel like a Trey Smith would give you, if you've got Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw, Trey Smith, you've got an identity.
Yep, you got something there. Yep. Okay, Dex, bring us a name. Offensive.
All right, so you guys have a couple road graders there on the interior offensive line. Now that we have the road graders established, how about we find ourselves a new running back here? And I know running back free agents are a little risky, but I think this one fits. The only issue is finding the projected contracts. I really can't find one. PFF doesn't even have him as a projected contract yet on their initial list. I found one blog post that gave one projected contract, but Rico Dowdle of the Cowboys. So Rico Dowdle is entering.
I think it's Dowdle.
Is Dowdle. I'm sorry, confused. Dowdle. Rico Dowdle. Rico. So he is going to be 27 years old. But this was his only year as a full-time starter, basically. He only has 387 touches in his career. So yes, he's going on 27, but there aren't a lot of miles on these tires necessarily. So this year, 1,000 yards rushing, had a very good end of the year. He kind of split time, obviously, with Ezekiel Elliott, who's a skeleton of himself. He had a 52% career success rushing rate this year, which was a pretty solid number. 4.8 yards per touch. The only contract projection I can find is from, I believe it's the Cowboys SB Nation blog. It's 2 years, $11 million. I have no idea what this guy is going to make because he's only had one good year. He's entering a contract season, but also like he's certainly not going to get a huge payday. He was a solid running back, but he doesn't have a resume, I think, to get like this absurd overpayment for a running back. But this would be someone that you can bring in that could help fix your running game. PFF has really liked him this year. He can catch the ball. He has an overall grade of 73.9. That's 21st out of running backs. His rushing grade is 74.4, which is 26 out of rushing backs. Just 2 rushing touchdowns, but I think that's most because they use Ezekiel Elliott in those goal line situations. This would be someone, if we can figure out his contract projection, I think does fit what the Vikings are looking for.
Yeah, he's younger, 4 years younger than Aaron Jones. He's a little bigger. I mean, Aaron Jones is like 5'9". So I mentioned this on the Hottest Takes episode. Give me a running back that makes you feel it when you tackle him. That after a 3-hour football game, you're like, man, we had to freaking tackle Saquon Barkley 27 times today. Or, Derrick Henry, you can't even really, there's no comp in NFL history to how big that guy is. But so Rico Dowdle, a little bit bigger. He's over 6 feet tall. I'd be careful paying too much money for a 26, 27-year-old free agent running back in this spot. But like, yeah, if you thought that he'd be an upgrade over Aaron Jones, and then you can also maybe draft someone in a super deep, according to the Thor Nystroms and the draft experts. Yeah. Maybe this is how you sort of read, because Ty Chandler, not what you thought he was going to be.
Time to abort.
Cam Akers is still pretty young, but he's also just like 2 torn Achilles, and there's not a ton of explosiveness there.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there like a Rico Dowdle for $5 million plus you draft someone in like the 5th round and you fully remake that room? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, there is a place on the roster for Cam Akers and what he brings, and I think the Vikings need to stop trying to make Ty Chandler happen and just be done with it. Like, it didn't work. But yes, it would be nice. I think this team is in desperate need of a running back because you've got to put O'Connell in a position where it's impossible for him not to trust the guy.
Yeah.
And Jones Jones was a upgrade, but the problem with Jones is, and it's why the Packers didn't release him because they don't like him. He just isn't healthy enough, and we saw that all year.
Yeah, it's tough when you're like with 5'9", kind of diminutive. The fact that he's had this much success in his career,
and he plays tough, he plays hard, but you're going to get hurt.
Yep. So throw some more names at us in the YouTube comment section. Hit us up, feedback tab in the Score North app. We're all in here. We'll do some more dissecting of obviously how the season ended and what it all means, but the next few months are going to be reserved from now until basically May on this show to aggressive, reckless speculation.
Reckless speculation.
If the Vikings are looking to store some of that free agency money, maybe they should contact North American Banking Company. 6 locations in the Twin Cities, Minnesota-based, Minnesota-founded. Since 1998, they've been invested in the Twin Cities, delivering a better banking experience. And I've told you guys over the weeks that I had a really bad experience with a national bank that is very popular, needed to get a hold of a human, needed to be able to use their technology, their app, in a way that was kind of melting down. And it was just terrible. And the timing of this partnership here on Score North and Purple Daily was kind of perfect for the Mackies. North American Banking Company, whether you're buying a home, tackling a renovation, financing a car, or just setting up a new business or new bank accounts, North American Banking Company can help give you peace of mind about where you bank. Personal relationships, cutting-edge online tools. Go to nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, he is the most passionate Vikings fan we know. You can find him on Twitter /X at Randy Vikes 69. He is Randy in Cottage Grove. Randy, we had someone on Ventline last night tell us via your Twitter account that you were in the hospital last night.
I had to stay the night overnight. I just got discharged. In fact, about a half hour ago.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle. This is how chronic conditions go. You know, you have your ups and your downs. But
Thought you drank too much.
Little jock itch flare up there for you, Randy.
Tinea cruris, and the issue, as I've been learning, this journey with this condition is a lot of times they say exacerbated by stress, and last night was stressful, and last week was stressful, and the whole week thinking about last night was stressful, and when the zebras, hosed us on that strip sack, that was absolutely a strip sack. Then it started to burn, and I know, keep your hands off, as they say. Don't make it worse, but it doesn't matter. When I get stressed out, it's what my body has a mind of its own, and I ended up, it was so bad. They said, "Well, Randy, you got to get out of here. You can't stay at the bar." And my buddy Ron drove me to the hospital, and they gave me some treatment, and I watched the rest of the game in a room. Wasn't even there for the one touchdown shot I would have got, and the whole season went down the tank. And thank God for Medicare.
How did the people in the bar know what was occurring with your jock itch, Randy?
Tinea cruris, Judd.
Oh, sorry.
Respectfully.
Because I can't sit, because I stand in pace, because I have to use a wide stance when I stand, because everything burns. People out there who know what this is about know exactly what I'm going through. And Jeff, if you haven't dealt with it, you consider yourself lucky. Consider yourself one of the lucky ones, because it sucks, and it ain't just athletics that gets in the way of it. You can't sit, and when you're stressed out, I like to sit down and really settle in for the game. Get some touchdown shots, get some buffalo wings, and I couldn't do any of that. And then the worse they play, the more I can't stand it, and I start cussing, and the whole thing went down the toilet. I mean, the last 2 weeks has been some of the worst 2 weeks I can remember.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty rough night. Listen, maybe we should talk offline here in the coming weeks. And is there like a foundation we can all get together on Purple Daily and support for those of you suffering with tinea cruris? Maybe we get your people to talk to our people.
I will say that this nurse
jockitch.org or something.
Wow.
The nurse last night, by the way, was trying to help me out in a hurry and get some comfort and some relief, and she said, "Can I cut your pants?" I said, "No. These Zubas, and I'm still wearing them. They're vintage. They're purple and gold, and they're vintage." And I said, "No, we took them down and we dealt with it." But the issue with a lot of people don't understand is when you put your heart and your soul into a team. You put your heart and your soul in, and by the way, it doesn't stop for me now. It's not like I'm going to check back in August. I'm immediately thinking about the draft, thinking about free agency, thinking about what we don't have to worry about Sam now. He cost himself a lot of jack, a hell of a lot.
Yeah, so you're officially you're done with Sam. You're done after these last couple of games.
I'd rather have Kirko back, and you know how I feel about Kirko.
Wow, I mean, there is a chance, man, that Kirko's probably going to be a free agent and probably going to sign a league minimum contract somewhere.
Good.
Old Kirko mentoring JJ McCarthy, huh?
I want JJ. JJ is what they call, and in fact, he does the Zen thing. Sits and does his meditations before the game, they say, calms him down, gets him in the right space. And that was one of the pamphlet they gave me when I checked out this morning, said, consider some stress relief. And one of them was meditation. So maybe I'll try it. Maybe if it works for JJ, maybe the whole thing next year will be a whole lot of a zen.
I like it.
I
Randy.
love it. We're gonna, I guess we're gonna Buddha our way to the first Super Bowl
But
championship.
first things first, I'm going to unload on these guys because that's why I said I need to get out of here so I have a responsibility to you don't get off scot free.
Did they check you out, or did you just leave?
He
Did you
broke
leave
out.
the hospital?
He broke out. Took his IV with him.
I guess you said
got the
they did
bracelet.
discharge you. I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I get discharged. It's a Medicare, so I don't get a bill.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah,
You never know.
I was gonna say there
Actually.
might be a deductible there, but-
All right. Well, are we doing a
I
dud
just throw
stable?
those away. It's like it comes in the mail, I throw
Oh,
it
don't
away.
do that, Randy. It's a good way to
Just
get in a lot of
toss it.
trouble.
Yeah, we'll do a stable, and then I'll switch over to the draft because that's all I got left. Because we were one win away from being home twice to go to the bowl, and then we dumped in our pants. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. All right. Here it is. This is
that
Randy's
music.
wild card dud stable, the final stable of the 2024 Vikings season.
This is a season that started with a lot of what they say low hopes, and it took off in a hurry, and we lost this season only 4 times. If you do the math, 4 losses, 14 wins, and the 4 losses came to 2 different teams. Okay, the Rams and the Lions. And KOC, I'm going to start with you because you everyone wants to pump you up, wants to inflate you. Well, take a little peek at you. You lost to your mentor twice. Once was bogus because of a face mask, and yesterday was probably bogus too because of the strip sack. But you did lose to him twice technically, and then you lost to the Lions twice to Dan Campbell, who's a stud. And Dan Campbell, I hope he goes to the Super Bowl. I hope he wins it because I love him. But you lost 4 times to 2 teams. Well, you got to go look in the mirror, KOC. You got what is the common denominator? What as they say? What am I doing wrong that makes these losses stack up? And it ain't just that you need a little quarterback with a little more fleet of foot. You need to be able to make adjustments at the half. Don't just go in there and cuss out the guys. Take a look in the mirror and cuss out yourself. Because KOC, you might be a good-looking guy and a great coach, but today you're a dud.
I just real quick though, the way you kind of framed it, and I know you did it in dud form. If you reframe it, dating back to December 31st of 2023, the Vikings have only lost to 2 teams. That is 54 weeks of NFL football, and the Vikings have only lost to 2 different teams in those 54 weeks. That's pretty impressive. No?
Didn't matter today. Didn't matter today.
He's on a roll.
And by the way, by the time they lose to another team, it's gonna be about 20 full months, and only 2 teams have beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Quasi Adolfo Menzo.
He's going.
Quasi, a lot of people like what you did in the offseason. Go ahead and give a flyer to Sam Darnold. Draft JJ. That's the future. I agree. One thing you didn't do, Quasi, is you didn't shore up the line. You decided to run it back, as they say with Dalton Reisner. He's got some good tats looking. He's got good tattoos. He might be a nice guy, but he's a swinging door. He's a barn door. Blake Brandel, he's a barn door. As soon as and Darisaw, you had nothing behind him. You got to have a line where if the big cats go down, the guy next man up. Rams got a line. Lions got a line. It's an afterthought for you. You can have all the speedsters you want all around the edges, but if you don't have a quarterback who can fly a little bit out of the pocket and play on the run, and you got barn doors, Quezi, you got to fix that line. You got to fix that line. If you don't, you're a dud.
Very fair.
Soft.
Very fair.
Yeah.
CJ Ham.
What?
Wow.
CJ, I'm tired of the little story about how you went to school in South Dakota. We're happy for you, CJ. But last night you missed a lot of blocks. You didn't give Sam a little extra chance, a little extra moment. people just blowing by you, CJ. And it's not for just for the glory of you catching your 6-yarders. You got to keep him upright. CJ, I don't know where you're going to be next year, but if you're here, you better tighten it up. You're a dud.
Wow.
Yeah, put some respect on
I didn't
August
see
Stanley
that
University.
coming. That's a stray.
Man.
JP Romo.
What?
JP Romo, you left a little bad taste in everybody's mouth coming here playing so well for the time you were here, and then you just kind of left town. I thought you liked what we were building here. I thought you wanted to stick around and be a part of this.
You bailed.
Next thing you know, you're posting for someone to ship you your stuff. Why don't you come back and get your stuff? Why don't you come back and give the guys a little pep talk? All it takes is one hammy from Will, and you're back in the saddle. It's gonna leave town, split just because it's cold. JP Romo, you're not a team player. You're done.
Yeah, he quit. He quit on the team.
Sam Darnold.
Don't even know what to say.
Sam, we had a lot of good times this year, Sam. You popped up, what they call a pop-up season. Came back on radar. You might even win the comeback guy. Great. Good for you, Sam. But when the lights were shining the brightest, you know who you reminded us of? The guy you replaced. The guy who would pee down his leg every time the lights were bright, check it down, throw it short of the sticks. And you did worse than that. You didn't even throw it away. You run back 15 yards and curl up like a ball. What the hell was that? Sam, it makes me sick how much you cost yourself, but it makes me even more sick how much you cost us. We were 2 wins away, home wins from the Super Bowl, as long as you took care of business in Detroit. You didn't do it. You saw the blitz. You didn't even get happy feet. You just got lay down feet. And Sam Darnold, good luck, because it's not going to be here. You're probably going to go to Pittsburgh or something. Have fun playing with George Pickens. You're a dud.
He really wouldn't have been home for those 2 games now, but that's okay.
Well, if they beat the Lions, they would have been home. You know,
for the
division round, they would have had the 1 seed. Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was talking about coming home.
Yeah.
And finally,
there he is. Okay.
I could go. I could just go guy by guy, but you guys don't let me do that, and I need to go reapply this ointment. So let's just finish off with one guy.
Thanks for telling us.
One guy who last week everyone was all hot to trot for this guy, saying he's got to get 3 interviews. Kind of hard to keep your mind in the game plan when you're hunting for a job, isn't it, Brian Flores? Isn't it kind of hard to keep your mind on a game plan when you're booking flights for interviews, trying to prep for interviews? I've had job interviews. I know how it goes. You're all stressed out. You're jacked up. You have a lot of coffee. You wear extra deodorant. That's everything you're thinking about, Brian. Well, you know what? You weren't thinking about the game. You're thinking about that next crack at a job. Well, now, I hope they take a look at what you did the last 2 weeks, because you didn't make any adjustments. You didn't. The whole middle of the defense is soft, like a tummy. Just go ahead and push on it. You can throw it anywhere you want, all over the middle. Even though Harrison Smith is long in the tooth, at least he goes where he's supposed to go. But Brian Flores, you didn't make any adjustments. You can, as far as I'm concerned, get in the hot tub with KOC and Kwesi Adolfo-Menzo, and you guys go ahead and just think about, why is it so hot? It's hot because the seat should be hot under all you guys. And if you stay here, you're on notice, Brian Flores. You're on notice, and you're a dud.
And he's gone.
Didn't need to hear about the ointment.
The reapplication of the ointment.
I didn't need to hear that. I didn't need to hear that part.
Yeah. Boy, well, I mean, to anyone else out there who is quietly suffering from jock itch or tinea cruris, we'll set up some sort of maybe fundraiser event.
It wasn't worth the question, but I don't understand why the nurse, the attendant, would have suggested that she could cut off his pants
like the jaws of life.
Yes, exactly right. When the pants weren't stuck on him. But I digress.
How much of an I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Trying to envision the type of emergency situation where the nurse would feel like we may need to cut these pants off. I don't.
Beyond the stress of the season, do you think his lifestyle as a whole probably plays just a small role in his ailment?
A small role?
The constant drinking, the shots,
the anxiousness,
the chicken wings, the buffalo wings, all the sauces.
The Jaegerator.
Yeah. I wonder if all that plays just a small role in the.
We didn't even get an online dating update this time, so maybe.
Well, it's
maybe
out
next time.
It's probably out for now.
I feel like it's in and out every month.
Well, it has to be.
I don't know when the next time we're gonna. Usually we hear from him around draft time because he puts together his 7-round mock.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years. He hit on Jefferson. He's hit on like Mike Hughes, but it's been like 3 years since he's nailed a draft pick. I feel like his mock drafting is suffering here.
His last really good one was suggesting the Vikings take Brock Purdy, I think, in the 5th round of that draft.
Yeah,
but
he mocked Purdy to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Which they would have been well served. So, all right. There's the last dud stable of the season here. Purple Daily. Tomorrow we got our Write That Down predictions, accountability session, playoff quarterback cesspool challenge, Thor's Day. So the offseason has begun, at least on this show. It's going to be full of reckless speculation and discussions every day between now and summertime. So thank you guys for being part of this here. The audience, you guys are awesome. Click that subscribe button and the like button on the YouTube channel if you haven't. And remember, we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.